Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is one of the more exciting opportunities I've had in a very long time, and we have a very special guest with us to talk about the Women in Construction Week that's coming up. We have with us someone who has a very esteemed background that we're going to get into, but also is doing some amazing work around the entire state of Michigan within construction. Reatta Stroud, how are you, Riata?
I'm marvelous, Shamar. How are you doing today?
I'm doing really well. Thank you so much for joining us here on Workforce at Work. I'm Shamar Heron, Executive Director, and Reatta Stroud is the Outreach and Engagement Specialist for Operating Engineers.
Yes, that is correct. I'm the Community Engagement Representative for the Operating Engineers, Local 324.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Riata, let's jump right into it because I'm excited to talk to you. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? How'd you get here?
Okay. Well, I was born and raised in Detroit, Michigan, graduate of Mumford High School, and I also took classes at Crockett Technical School as well, which for those of you who don't know, it's a career trade school. So that really opened up my doors to the expansion of just really getting into skilled trades. From there, I went to Central State University down in Wilberforce, Ohio, and I was a dual major in engineering and art. Fast forward a little bit past my freshman year, I returned back to the city and I ended up getting my first full-time job. It was a summer position with the city of Detroit, which later led me to OE 324. Once I graduated from college, I moved back to Michigan and my mom was like, hey, what are your next steps? You should apply back with the city. You already have a pension, you'll have healthcare, et cetera. So I did just that. And the position that I applied for was actually a contracted position for the city. And OE 324 was our union. So that was how I ended up getting directly into the union.
Fascinating. So you're a Mustang, huh?
Yes, I am.
Didn't know I knew that, right? A lot of my family graduated from Mumford. It's an amazing high school. I myself am a Persian doughboy, so keep that in mind. So we got a real East-West thing going here.
Yes, we do.
All right, but either way, you know, your work with the city of Detroit and how it converged with the opportunity you have now with the Operating Engineers 324 really speaks to how, if any of our viewers or listeners are thinking about this, you never know where your next opportunity is going to come from, right? You always want to put your best foot forward. And something that I've been thinking about is saying yes more and no less, because you never know how that opportunity that you say yes to will help guide you later on down the line, right? And so here you are doing some illustrious work over at Central State and working with the city of Detroit. But now you're zigzagging the state of Michigan now, correct?
Yeah, so back in September of 2021, the union contacted me. Now, prior to that, I had done a lot of work as a union steward. I was working all over the city, just representing our members, did my first contract negotiation, got them an $11,000 raise. So I was just excited. It was just literally one thing after the next. But my prior business manager, Mr. Miller, he ended up contacting me. He's like, hey, the union wants to speak to you. They want to have a meeting with you about, a different position. So I'm like, no problem at all. He gives me a call a few weeks later. We're setting up the meeting. And as I'm on the way, he calls me and he lets me know that our business manager, Doug Stockwell, is also going to be at the meeting. So I'm like, okay, this must really be
bringing out the big wigs.
Yes. And I was excited. I got there. Lee, my boss, he just gave me a rundown of everything that, came with the community engagement representative title. He already has 171 partnerships as a union whole. We have over 800 different contractors. And he's just like, hey, we need more hands on deck. We just need you out there in the public, engaging, bringing on some of your previous partnerships with the city to just let everyone know basically what OE 324 has to offer, how to get into the program, the requirements, and basically an overall career in skilled trades. And I was I jumped at the opportunity. I had to let my prior boss know, like, hey, it's nothing personal. I wasn't even looking for this position. It came to me. And he told me, he was like, I'm very proud of you. He was like, I know you're going to do great. And this position is probably made for you. And I can honestly say it's been one of the best career changes of my life.
Wow, that's amazing to hear. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Very rarely do opportunities fall in your lap and they're the right opportunity, right? Sometimes it's like, who told you to contact me? Right? Why would you think this is right for me? But this sounds like the exact opposite. It was all of the right things, an opportunity to get out, learn more, but take what you had and really, obviously OE 324 saw that you had something that was valuable for not only the union, but for the people that they're trying to work with and build relationships with. So, don't make sure you don't sell yourself short. You tell people, hey, they came after me.
They did. Very true.
So I hear you're doing advocacy work for the people you work with. I hear you're doing community engagement, or you had done some advocacy work. I'm sure you're still doing that. And now you're doing some community engagement. Give me a few examples of like what you do, like on a daily or a weekly or a monthly basis. Help people understand what Reatta Stroud does on a sort of a synopsis of your work. And if you want to give a couple examples, help yourself.
No problem. So, as you know, like you said, I do work all over the state, and that's including the UP. So I'm constantly on the go. My schedule changes abruptly some days. So I get the opportunity to go to just about any school district in the state of Michigan. If they invite us out, I get the opportunity to speak to the students about a career in skilled trades, what I do, what the opportunities are if they come to OE 324, benefits, et cetera. I go to a lot of different career fairs, and I work with a lot of different programs like Michigan Works and Access for All to really help people who are looking for new career changes or career seekers know what opportunities there are out there. Because a lot of people don't know about skilled trades. They don't know how to get into them. And that's kind of like where I open up that door. I'm anywhere from Detroit in mornings, Grand Rapids in the afternoons. It never stops. Saginaw here, Flint there, wherever they need me to be, that's where I'm at. So I love getting that opportunity to just go to the schools, go to the job fairs, even help returning citizens like find a career path of their choice, and just opening up those doors, opening up those opportunities, and just networking as much as possible. A huge portion of my job is networking. I never turn down any event. I don't care how jam-packed my schedule gets. If I have to get up at 3 a.m. to make it to an event, I'm just going to get up at 3 a.m. It is what it is. It's part of the process. But if it ultimately helps someone find their career choice or ultimately helps us gain more members, it's a win-win. So it's never ending, never stopping, even on the weekends. If there's an event on the weekends on a Saturday morning at 9 a.m., you can count me in. I'll be there too. So never turn down opportunities, always opening up doors and taking every possible initiative to engage with the community, engage with the public, let students, young adults, career seekers know what we have to offer at OE 324.
Awesome. So sounds like you have a lot of responsibility, a lot of travel, a lot of engagements. Can you tell folks what you love most about this work? Because that's intense. There's a lot to that, whether it's being on the road, whether it's having a flexible schedule, whether it's meeting with a diverse crowd where you can't bring the same message every day. Tell us a little bit about what you love about doing that.
What I love the most, honestly, is getting the opportunity to help someone find something that they're passionate about. Obviously, I'm extremely passionate about my career. I love what I do. Even when I was in college, I was involved in just so many different, organizations on campus. I was president of the art club, president of National Association of Black Engineers, just constantly working and networking as much as possible. So I love seeing that spark of interest in, even not even just the kids, but young adults people who are going through career change, people who lost their jobs, people who are returning citizens. And when they see like, you know what, this is an attainable goal. This is something I can see myself doing. And not even just with us, because we network with so many other skilled trades across Michigan, we may not have something that someone is interested in. So if I can tell them like, hey, I can connect you with the carpenters if that's what you want to do, or I know the representative from the iron workers, and they're just like, thank you so much. Like, I love just making those connections, helping people find what they want to do in their life, and ultimately just helping other people expand their careers. Like, that is the biggest takeaway from my career, is being able to get the opportunity to help other people find their dream career.
Hey, so Riata, the great connector, Riata and Operating Engineers 324, connecting and helping lives find better connections to a greater future, right? So
very true.
I love it. I love it. You mentioned something earlier that I'm wondering if you could do a little bit more explaining. I think you said access for all.
Yes.
Can
okay.
you help people understand what access for all is?
Yes. So Access for All is a partner of ours. They're a partner to the Detroit Work Institute, so WDI, I think that's what it's called. But I really just, so basically, they are a partnership of all the skilled trades. They give people who are interested in skilled trades but don't really know exactly which one they want to get into an opportunity to test them all out. So they're partnered with the operators, the electricians, the plumbers, the pipe fitters, the iron workers, et cetera. So people who are involved in this program, they get the opportunity to go to each one of our locations, do a lot of hands-on work, see what we do, and ultimately get a feel for it. And then from there, it gives them the opportunity to segue directly into a paid apprenticeship of their choice, whether it be with the operators, the iron workers, the carpenters, et cetera. Now that they have that real hands-on, real life experience of what we do, then they get the opportunity to decide, okay, which one can I really see myself doing long-term as a career? So it's the ultimate segue to any skilled trade of your choice, because it gives you that hands-on feel, that opportunity to just learn and engage, to get out there, to really learn about what each skilled trade has to offer. And then from there, grants you the opportunity to actually get into that career.
So is it safe to sort of compare it or make the synopsis that this is a pre-apprenticeship? So this gives you the opportunity to learn about all of the experiences and the different unions and the different work that each partner does within Access All, like you said, whether it's the iron workers, the operators, the pipe fitters, the demo folks, sometimes get left out.
The laborers, yes.
None of this stuff happens without the laborers, right?
Very
true. It sounds like this is an opportunity for people, and we'll put some information up about Access for All, because I know there's one in Detroit, and I think it's through the Workforce Development Institute. There's also one in Jackson, Michigan, which is a little more South Central than it is Southeast. As people are listening and thinking about opportunities for themselves, their friends, or their family, Access for All is a great chance for people to gain insight into learning what you want to do. I always say one of the best things is knowing what you don't want to do. It's equally as important as knowing what you want to do, right?
Very, very true. And Access for All is expanding across Michigan. So Detroit, Jackson, and Saginaw are fully expanded. They've already had cohorts, and they're continuing to have cohorts. And then now we're expanding to Grand Rapids, Muskegon, and then the Kalamazoo area. Those three have not started their cohorts yet. Still a work in progress, and still a lot of networking in those communities to let their citizens know about the opportunity. So just letting everyone know that's listening to the podcast that it's expanding across Michigan. Keep your eyes and your ears out for it. And it's just going to be like the ultimate change for those areas as well. Much like it's been for Detroit and Jackson, it's just growing, and the success records are just phenomenal.
Yep. And as I understand it, this is an opportunity for the skilled trades to help people understand what they're really about, because there's so many misconceptions
Very
about
true.
what the trades are, how they go about their work. And this is an opportunity to say, no, come in, learn more, and then make an educated decision instead of just going off of what somebody's friend, uncle, mama, cousin told them. Learn for yourself. Learn for yourself. And everybody has a different passion point and skill set. So where you think you'll be the most passionate and have the highest skill, you can start to work towards that trade.
100%.
So we're going to keep it moving here, Riata. I want to know why you believe construction is a great opportunity for women in particular, because we are talking about Women in Construction Week, you being a woman in construction. Maybe you can give some insight to folks so that they learn a little bit about why this is an opportunity that makes sense for women in particular.
No problem. So one of the biggest takeaways that I've learned from it is that it's financial freedom without debt attached to it. So for those of you who don't know, in any paid apprenticeship, which is basically entering in any of the skilled trades, they are paid apprenticeships, which means that you get the opportunity to earn while you learn. You're going to be learning hands-on what we do in the field, whether it be with the laborers, the operators, the iron workers, et cetera. All of them will be paying you to do what you do. From there, it's an abundance of certifications, a lot of networking opportunities. And from what I've learned in my experience in the field and networking with so many different women, from WIS, which is the Women in Skilled Trades, or NAWIC, which is the National Association of Women in Construction, is that many women that enter this industry, ultimately, like, they take off. They do phenomenal. We're just, not to say we're better than men, but we really take our time. We really hone in on just the general skill sets, and we really neatly get the job done. And we're more precise, just a little bit better. And I promise you, a lot of men in the industry will tell you that. So it's that financial freedom, being able to just support yourself financially, and the certifications that come with it. So many women are just proud of all that they've accomplished, and just advanced opportunities. And overall, the biggest portion that I tell women is to not be intimidated by it, because it is a predominantly male-ran organization. Like, let's just be honest, it is. I think for the operators, we have about 14% women in our industry, and some of the other skilled trades are less. But I tell women all the time that there's always going to be support, not only from women in the industry, but from men too. Like, I wouldn't be here without, William Miller and Brian Burke. Like, they were the guys that were really pushing me up front, like letting the union know about all the work that I was doing in the field. And if not for them, then I wouldn't be in the position that I'm in today. So it's definitely just a ton of support, growth and opportunity, networking opportunity, and financial opportunity. I tell young girls all the time that there was a time when women couldn't have bank accounts, couldn't have credit cards, couldn't drive themselves. So to be able to make six figures, to be able to buy your own house without a man, to be able to just pay for any type of form of comfort of living that you want to have, that is the biggest opportunity of coming into this industry. Aside from just all the growth, the expansion, the network, the certifications that you're going to gain from it as well. It's just being able to have financial freedom without debt. You're not going to college and spending all that money on debt. You can still pay for your degree because you'll be making enough money to do so, to pay for that pocket. Like, if you really want the degree, like, you'll be making that in abundance of money. But financial freedom is just the most beautiful part of it. Just honestly being able to say, like, hey, I can do this on my own. I don't have to be someone's missus to make a living for myself and to be a successful person. So
I love it. You did a great job summarizing, financial freedom, credentialing, which allows for more financial freedom, because the more search, the more you can do, your network, and then an increase in opportunity. And I always tell young people, there's two ways of going about your career. You can pay and go and learn, and then hopefully you get what you need to earn, or you can go get paid to learn and know that you're gaining the credentials and the education that you need in order to go out and make more money. And you said, buy a house. At this point, I'm thinking you can build your own house at this point with the skills that you have, right?
Very true. Very
Right?
true. And know it's done right.
Exactly. So if you're just checking in, Shamar Heron here at Workforce on Work. I am so elated to have Reatta Stroud of Operating Engineers 324 with us here at Workforce at Work. And we're talking all things women in construction, as it is Women in Construction's Week. Thank you so much for being with us, Riatta. And I wanted to ask you a particular question. What is a barrier interested women should consider when headed into the construction field? And do you have a solution for that barrier for them to consider?
Okay, so I would say that the biggest thing to consider is that these are non-traditional hours. If you think about it, most construction sites are starting at 6 o'clock in the morning. They're probably not ending until 6 o'clock in the evening. So you're talking long work hours in extreme heat, in extreme cold, because this is the state of Michigan. So it varies depending on the state that they're in, of course. But the biggest, and especially if they have children. I fortunately don't have any children, so it's easy for me to live this type of lifestyle, to work the type of hours that I worked, even when I was working in the field for the city. But it's just a lot of really understanding, like, hey, is this something that I can do? Is this something that I'm going to get support from my family and loved ones to really be able to take out this time and do? Can I really see myself doing this career long term? And overall, as far as like getting over that barrier is the biggest thing I can say is, as long as you have the support of your family and loved ones, and they know that this is a great career opportunity, they know what you're going to be bringing home and how it's a personal growth change, then I say that the barrier itself is just going to get knocked down. It's going to get knocked down. The only hard part that I can say, and it's really not even hard, at least for like the women that I know that are in the field that have children, is that they just have that support. One of my partners, Crystal, she was actually Apprentice of the Year, I think in like 2017, but all through her apprenticeship, she actually had her 3 children. She was still able to work, still had the support of her family, still had the support of everyone in the industry. And she's just a phenomenal person and a great speaker. She and I go to a lot of the skilled trades events geared towards young girls. And she tells them, like, you can start a family during your apprenticeship, after your apprenticeship, while you're going through the program, and you'll have that support. She has that support. And overall, it's just getting over your fears. If you sit down, you have the conversation with your loved ones about what you want to do, and they support you and are physically there to help you through it, like, you'll be fine. The biggest barrier is just knowing that it's not a traditional job. It's not a 9 to 5, and you may have to work weekends too. But once you get past that, it's gold, just literally gold.
And I see what you did there. I know the operators pride themselves on all the cool tools that they get to work with. So knocking down barriers, you all probably have the right tools to do that, right?
Very true.
I see what you did there. Nice work.
Thank you.
Hey, let's get a little future facing. Let's get a little forward facing. I'm wondering, how do you see the work that you all do evolving over the, let's say, 3, 5, 10 years? What's the next evolution you see?
Definitely technology. Without a doubt, the world, it just is what it is. Technology has taken over everything. Like, even in some of the newer equipment that is coming out, a lot of the excavators, bulldozers, dump trucks, and even a lot of the work that the laborers do, it's all becoming digitalized. So it's just learning to enhance your digital skills. It's coming to the construction industry. It's been in the construction industry for a while, but I just see it expanding even more. And then another big thing that I definitely see is at least 20% or more of the construction industry is going to be women of all diversities. I definitely see more women getting into STEM. I see them getting into the construction industry, even if it's just, from what I've seen, a lot of women starting their own construction companies. They've learned, they've got that skill set, and then now they're becoming entrepreneurs in the industry, starting, contracting companies and stuff like that. So I definitely see a huge growth in technology and a huge growth of women in the industry.
So diversity, technology, and if you haven't seen any of the podcasts before, I have a keen interest in Industry 4.0, which also is known as the Internet of Things. And we often talk about how diverse that world is, whether it's autonomy, cybersecurity, thinking about, the trades and in particular construction. You talk about these bulldozers, they have complex satellites in them now, helping to work out these grids. Some of these, I don't want to call them products, but some of these instruments are all done remotely, right? So depending on what tool you're using is a skill set in itself. So I love the fact that you see technology growing, but also diversity in the workplace, which is something we all should be striving for.
I agree, 100%. 100%.
Yeah, let's get a little introspective here for a minute. All right. A little bit looking inside of oneself. Can you tell me what you're most proud of?
That's tough. Not to brag, but I've accomplished a lot. But I will honestly say I'm most proud of the fact that I was able to work from the bottom up. And that's because when you're working from the bottom, you learn to be humble, but you also know that there's a future, that there's light at the end of the tunnel. In addition to that, you're getting to be more understanding of what other people are going through. When I was working for the city, it was a lot of certain parts of the city. For example, the police department had never had civilians. So when we were transitioning to that point, I was a part of that program. And it was like learning to, kill people with kindness, learning to show them what we can do better than tell them what we can do. So it was a lot of just like conflicts in the work environment, but being able to, as a union steward as well, just let them know like, hey, this is our job now. You all are no longer a part of it, but we are still partners within the work. So a huge portion, the thing that I'm most proud of is honestly just being able to work my way from the bottom to the top. I was literally working 16-hour shifts, 7 days a week. In 2016, I had 9 off days the entire year because I was literally just pushing it that hard. I was on call 24/7 as a union steward. It didn't matter, rain, sleet, hail, snow. If I got a call, I was going to handle it and then just reporting back to my business rep. So I'm thankful for this opportunity to be the community engaged representative because it's shown me how much hard work really pays off, like how much dedication really pays off, how much people are really looking at you and observing and seeing how you just don't break under pressure, how you're able to just make things happen, how diligent you are, because it's a lot of just record keeping and on top of stuff like that, especially when you're a union steward, and just being tactful, being reliable. And I tell the students that all the time, some of the biggest things that any job seeker or people that are looking to employ are looking for is your work ethic. They want to know that you're dependable. And I've always strived on being that person. And now being in the position that I am now, it's shown me that it definitely paid off in the long run. Like I don't regret the sleepless nights, the sleepless days, the long hours, the long weeks where you don't even remember what day it is because now I just get that opportunity. It's still long days, long weeks and stuff, but it's a lot more pressure off my shoulders. So it's just, honestly, I'm just proud of being the person that I am, just continuing to push forward because it's led me to where I am today.
Awesome. Thank you so much. If you don't mind, I do want to edit what you're most proud of, if you don't mind.
No problem.
Right.
I'm
totally with you on the working your way up. And you said you worked your way up to the top. I think you have a higher ceiling than what you know. I think there's still more room to go, right? I don't think you're at the top now. I think you still got some more rings and rungs to climb. Will you accept that?
I will. I definitely will.
You're not there yet. Maybe when you're telling Lee, happy retirement, thanks for I'll take your place now. Then we can start talking about it. But I think you got more to do because I see nothing but enthusiasm, honesty, clarity of thought, dedication, intelligence, all the things you want in a leader. The few times that we've met, talking to you today. I am just super proud of who you are, what you represent, being a strong woman of color, being able to come in here and be open and honest and give people perspective is something that makes me draw my shoulders back and feel even more appreciative of this opportunity. So thank you so much. I got one last question for you, though. Everybody has to answer it before they leave Workforce at Work. You ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Anything else you want to share with our viewers and listeners? Anything else you want to let people know?
Yes. I think the biggest thing that I want everyone to know, and this is something that I tell just about anyone that I come in contact with, do your research. Before you start your business, join a job, join an organization, be a negative person about any organization, any type of field, do your research. Have a better understanding of what they do, how they do their job, or even if you're, like I said, if you want to be an entrepreneur, I tell kids all the time, it takes money to make money. You can't be an entrepreneur if you don't have any money to put forth to it. And being an entrepreneur takes a lot of work. You'll probably end up working more as an entrepreneur than working for a company, but do your research. If it's something that you really want to do in life, that you're really striving for, do your research, have the best understanding of it, and ultimately gain the most insight and clarity on it before you make those final decisions. Because the last thing that you want to do, and I've seen it all the time, even with colleges, is people like, oh, well, I'm going to major in this and do that. And after 2 years in, they're like, this is not at all what I want to do. Or they may join a particular skill trade and they're like, you know what, I hate my job. And it's like, well, it's probably because you just jumped into it. You really got to do your research and see what's really out there, what you connect with, what you really want to see yourself doing long term. So do your research. No matter what the scenario is, do your research.
I love it. What a perfect way to end this conversation. Riatta, thank you so much for joining me today.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
You did a phenomenal job today. I want everybody to click, like, and share Workforce at Work. So that you can hear this amazing story, share it with your friends and family. If someone is considering the skilled trades, considering entering construction, they need to hear this. So Reatta Stroud of Operating Engineers 324, thank you so much for joining me on Workforce at Work. You take care of yourself, okay?
You're welcome, and thank you for having me. Enjoy the rest of your day, and this has been wonderful, honestly wonderful.
Thank you, Riatta, and representing women well during Women in Construction Week and beyond. I'm not just going to put it into 1 week. You're moving beyond that, so thank you.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
All righty.